At 17 minutes past 9 a.m., we continue with the Thursday edition of News and Views this morning, and going across now to be joined by the CEO of Penny Appeal South Africa, unpacking details of their latest projects. We're joined by Shahnaaz Paruk. Shahnaaz, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As always, welcome, and we appreciate your time with us on Salam Media.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. It's always a pleasure to be speaking to you, and today from the very windy city of Cape Town. So lots of salams from this beautiful city.
Well, windy or not, I'm jealous. I was in Cape Town last month and I really enjoyed it. So I would have loved to be there, windy or not, Shahnaaz.
Indeed. I think if any of us had a choice, we'd just probably set up shop here totally and, just continue with life.
Yes. Now, Shahnaaz, I was just listening to the advert and talking about Penny Appeal, focusing on education. Now, if you could just take us through this project and tell us more.
Our education project is actually one of the first projects that we undertook as Penny Appeal. It's a project that's, really amazing in that it looks at securing the future of education and providing resources and access to children from underserved communities so they have a fair chance at being able to access quality education. In our formative years, initially, the entire Penny Appeal family got together and we provided support to the Leadership College, which is out in Primrose Park here in Cape Town. And we provided 17 mobile units to the school, which alhamdulillah, we're happy to see is still functional today, as well as operational support for a 2-year period. So despite us, concluding that project, we're still happy to see that the objective was met, which is to be able to have something that's long-standing to provide resources to the community so they can unlock, especially the youth, for them to unlock a better future. They say education is the key to a good future, a better future. It's a stepping stone to inculcate not only education, but values in children. And so this project focuses on providing shoes, sanitary packs for girl children, as well as providing school reforms as well as stationery packs to children who may need it. The Breakfast Club, which is a hugely popular project with Penny Appeal, providing nutritious breakfast meals to kids in underserved schools, that's also part of the Education First project. And we're just really thankful to have it as one of our ongoing seasonal campaigns, which rolls out every year.
Yes, I think this is very, very encouraging in terms of what you're saying. It's not about just rolling out a project here. It's a follow-up that is absolutely critical, and also at the same time providing a holistic approach to education, because it's not only about school books and pens and making sure you've got a classroom and a desk, but there's so much more. And this is where Penny Appeal, features very, very prominently in providing all sorts of other services, like you mentioned, sanitary pads for girls, children, but also at the same time, the Breakfast Club campaign.
Definitely. I think when we just take a step back on the project, instead of looking at it as, like you actually said, holistic, we look at the element behind the project, and it's definitely that human element that comes into play. These are children that we're dealing with most of the time. A lot of the time, it's individuals who don't have adequate facilities in their homes and need to be able to have adequate resources to attend school. More than anything, they need a fair chance at being able to access education, simply so that they can transform their communities. They can make something of themselves. And the psyche and the morale of the child comes into play. It's like we always say, you can't teach a child on an empty stomach, and therefore we introduced the Breakfast Club campaign. You can't expect a child to be smiling in a classroom if they are walking to school barefoot, for example. And so the school shoes that we provide makes that difference. Even if we take it up a notch, one of the other projects we did, which is in Johannesburg at the Nurul Islam School in Indonesia, where we kitted out the entire computer lab to be able to have it accessible to girl children to access coding. And there's a totally different perspective. Some individuals may come from disadvantaged backgrounds, some may not, but there was a need to inculcate education. And I just think if we see it, from that frame, that education is quite literally education. It's something that is a right for every child in this country and worldwide. And we want to just be able to provide as much as we can with the resources we have inshallah, to give the best shot they have at securing a really bright future.
Well, Penny Appeal and yourself have given your best shot, and with all the resources that have gone into the project, we've chatted about this in the past, the successes that you have achieved, and it's gratifying and also satisfying at the same time.
Definitely, it is. But with that, and our teams often face this on the ground. There's so much more that we want to do and we want to accomplish and we want to push forward. And I think we're just constantly reminded that our role is to be able to, serve humanity firstly for the pleasure of the Almighty and the Creator, and secondly, be ever so thankful to donors who make it possible for us to do this. It's only with their intention to want to do good that we can take the assistance forward. And I think that's encouraging in itself. That there are so many people that want to do good and want better for our country and for our children.
Now, just moving away from education, looking at water, and we know water is essential for survival. We know Penny Appeal South Africa builds water wells in various countries around the world, Shahnaaz.
Our water project, our thirst relief campaign, is something that's ongoing all throughout the year. I think the gift of water and water itself as a resource is so precious. We know for a fact that there are some communities or areas that are challenged with water. We know how important water is in terms of hygiene, sanitation, even for crops and agriculture, etc., even for livestock. And so our Thirst Relief, our water campaign, actually includes building water wells in rural villages in Malawi. We've completed quite a few in Zimbabwe. We are in the midst of completing a borehole at a school in Khayelitsha in Cape Town. And so all of these water projects fall under the Thirst Relief banner. And our aim when we do this is not only to, again, it's a holistic approach. It's not about providing the water source. That's one component. It's about also including communities in it, including the school in it. So, for example, at the school, we've ensured that the water is able to, provide water to the food garden, which sustains the school's feeding program. We've taught learners about the importance of hygiene and sanitation. We've ensured that the piping goes into the toilet so that there's an adequate flush system. So again, a very holistic project. There's so much that can be done. In Malawi, we've taught villages about how to save water, how to maintain the water source, again, about hygiene and sanitation. And I think these are all important components when we're speaking with or when we're dealing with communities. Providing the resources is one aspect, but we also actually engage with them and ensure that they have the tools necessary to take over the project and to ensure longevity of the project. That's the key to all of our water projects. A lot of them are done at Kajaria. Yes.
Just a thought. How responsive are these communities? And you're talking about communities in Malawi, and I suppose also here locally. When we're talking about schools and we're talking about gardens, and just how responsive are they to these initiatives, and also looking at it from an educational perspective?
We've been pretty blown away by the level of engagement from communities and also the initiative taken. If I look at the school, for example, there was a resounding, welcome from the school, from the educational committee, from the learners. They want to see good things happening, and the interest is there. And I think that's what pushes us on to want to do more, because they understand that, these are resources provided to assist them. And by maintaining it, it benefits them, it benefits the larger community. The school children, for example, they've really been in tune in terms of learning about nutrition, in terms of learning about hygiene and sanitation. It's something that they've taken quite seriously. They've even appointed little hygiene and sanitation monitors. And, that sounds like the cutest thing, but I think if ever there's an indication of pure interest coming through from themselves, that's got to be it, taking initiative to own what's been provided to you. In Malawi, when there's a handover that's happening with the water well, there's a lot of singing, there's a lot of praise, there's a lot of engagement. But more than that, the village head usually comes forward and pledges that, the community is going to take care of this well. We then have WASH champions, or what we call WASH champions, which is water, hygiene, and sanitation. And these WASH champions are actually people in the community who are the go-to person for any example repairs that are needed. They are the people that introduce education. They They teach people about what needs to be done. They ensure that, everything that's needed to know about good hygiene practices as well as maintaining water sources stays with them. And it's kind of like a training of the trainer. They then pass the knowledge on to others in the village. So I think, on the larger scale of things, very well received. They've shown us the videos that's on our social media. You can see it on our Penny Appeal Instagram page that, the water sources that they were accustomed to compared to what's been provided literally poles apart. And I think if we're talking transformation, it's definitely a noted transformation and one that was definitely needed.
Well, Shahnaaz, you are in Cape Town, and although it's windy, you and the team are in Cape Town for something exciting. Tell us more.
So we're in Cape Town today because, alhamdulillah, we've been afforded the opportunity to have a premiere screening of the Material movie with Riyad Musa. He's been, alhamdulillah, quite instrumental going back into our Penny for a Laugh comedy tour, which provided funds for the much-needed healthcare aspect with the mobile medical bus. This time with his movie, we're really, really happy to see, that there's been progress, that this new movie is out, and we wish him and his team, everything of the best, all the success with this new venture. And this evening's screening is, of course, a premiere one, and we've invited some of our donors here in the city of Cape Town, as well as some of our volunteers, and that's primarily the cause of it. We're also then looking at advancing our orphan kind program or child sponsorship program. And inshallah, that means signing on more children to the sponsorship program, primarily so they can receive ongoing support for a 1-year period when they're funded by a specific donor. So definitely lots going on in both the project and the PR side as well.
Yes, and just finally, sharing your banking details, information, how we can get involved.
We'd love for listeners to please check our social media pages. A lot of updates happen on our Instagram and Facebook, and that's Penny Appeal SA or Penny Appeal South Africa. You're also able to get in touch with us through email. You could email us on info@pennyappeal.org.za. And then also, in terms of our banking details, if you visit our website, which is www.pennyappeal.org.za, there's a quick donation portal online, which is very secure. It literally takes you about 5 minutes. Alternatively, our bank details are available under the section Ways to Donate, but I'll read it out to you now. And for general donations, it's FNB or First National Bank, account number 627-347-92931. I'll repeat that. It's FNB, Penny Appeal South Africa, account number 627-347-92931. And the reference can be your cell number. We accept zakat as well. And so if you'd like to donate some zakat, you're able to do it again on FNB, Penny Appeal South Africa. And our account number is 627-347-92478. The zakat banking details again, 627-347-92478. The reference will be your cell number again, so we can contact you and acknowledge your donation. And all our donations in South Africa are Section 18A tax deductible.
Well, Shahnaaz, is always jazakallah for your time. We certainly do appreciate talking to you, not only as a learning curve, but also at the same time, we appreciate the wonderful work that you and the Penny Appeal team are doing for the betterment of humanity. Allah accept, Allah reward your efforts, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Always a pleasure speaking to you. Take good care of yourself, and may the Almighty accept from us all. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Shahnaaz Paruk, the CEO of Penny Appeal of South Africa, with us this morning. We're going to go for a break. We come back, we'll be joined by the Amir of the Gauteng Muslim Shura Council, Amir Mohammed Khadimeng.
These days,